Hi, everybody, and welcome to Motorola SportTrax Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I'm Walter Lynn, in for Norm Hiskis once again, and great to be here with Paul White of Baseball Weekly. Paul, thanks for being here and pulling me through this one for Norm.
Be glad to help.
Let's talk about the rain of runs in the league. You're getting football score. You're getting 14-7, 21s. What's going on here right now?
Well, the American League especially, we've really got some pitching problems. The earned run average composite in the American League, a full run higher than the National League. Keep that in mind when you're filling out your lineups.
Let's go to the roster moves and news, because there's a bunch of it. We start with the Red Sox, where they're still trying to clean up their mess there.
Still groping for a lineup that works. Injuries continue to be a problem. Mitchell on the DL, Canseco on the DL, Mike Greenwell could be next. Young Donnie Sadler, great prospect. They've got him up in Fenway this week, playing some balls off the left field wall just to see if he can handle it, so he could be there soon.
Pitching coach change there. What does that mean?
Sammy Ellis takes over for Al Nipper. Roger Clemens has a great game the first night. I can't imagine that the pitching coach change affected that, but we could see some changes there again. Jeff Supan pitching real well in Pawtucket, could come up if one of the starters continues to struggle.
What's going on in Baltimore? The Orioles start so well, and now there are questions about the rotation there.
A couple of serious questions. After Messina, Wells, and Erickson, it's all in flux. Kent Merker's having some serious problems. Jimmy Haynes got bounced out of there. Arthur Rhodes hasn't been that effective. I think they're going to go back and forth for a while here.
Well, Cleveland's Cleveland again. They're fine. Let's talk about the Tigers for a minute. They bring in Greg Olson. Is he going to get a chance to close there for them?
Certainly. They've got to find a closer. Brian Williams tried it. They really struggled through spring training trying to find a guy. And they're resisting the temptation in the rotation to bring up the good young kids, Justin Thompson, Trevor Miller. It's probably the right thing to do, but they've got to be patient. Well,
the Kansas City Royals get a sweep in Boston. Jose Offerman, has he found a home at first base?
It looks like it. He'd never played first base before. Had to borrow a glove the first night. His batting average has gone up 80 points since they put him over there.
Let's talk about Milwaukee. Who's Mark Loretta, and is this guy going to get a chance to play a little bit?
He certainly is. He's probably the best young infield prospect in their system. Could be a solution in the middle of the infield eventually, once they sort that out with Vigna and Listach. They'd like Loretta to play a little bit of third. Jeff Cirillo needs some rest. He's got some knee problems. But Kevin Seitzer has to stay at first base until Dave Nilsson come back. So it's a domino effect really right now.
Well, the Yankees have been stretched pitching-wise recently. Had a 15-inning game against the Orioles. Talk about the Yankees' rotation right now.
Well, the big key is David Cohn, who's got a Thursday night start this week. He's had circulation problems in his hand. Going to have to keep an eye on him. If he's not healthy, they have some problems. Andy Pettit had to pitch some relief in Baltimore in the long game. Mariano Rivera's been their best pitcher out of the bullpen. Maybe he gets a start pretty soon.
Now, a circulation problem in the hand, that is not a good thing. How serious is this with Cohn?
Well, it's more a comfort thing right now. It's not affecting the fingers that he uses to grip his pitches, but it's got to be a nuisance out there in the mound. You don't have that right feel, and you know how pitchers are, how picky they can be.
Oakland, Pedro Munoz, he's playing every day now.
He has been pretty much, more so than he ever did in Minnesota. But I think the key with Pedro, he's got some knee problems, and Art Howell, the manager, is a little concerned if he can keep him out there in the lineup every day.
Problems with the big unit in Seattle, that's got to be scary.
Yeah, first it was the back, and then the start this week in Texas where he had a calf problem. That tightened up on him, came out of the game. They're going to take another look at him. I'd back off of Randy for a little while just to make sure he's completely healthy.
In Texas, Jeff Russell gets in, first game back, and he gets a win.
Well, this is going to get interesting now in the bullpen situation. It's good for the Rangers. It's not good for fantasy players. You've got Russell, you've got Henneman, you've got Vosberg. Those saves are going to get spread out.
And Frank Viola getting hammered in Toronto again. Let's go to the National League and take a look at Cincinnati. The three Erics there, Eric Owens, Eric Davis, Eric Anthony.
And Owens might be the best of the bunch for the future. Anthony's filling in a little bit while Reggie Sanders is hurt. Davis is on and off, hot and cold. Owens is an infielder, could play some outfield now for him. He's going to be a good player.
Colorado and Florida, let's go to the Marlins. Conine, what's the problem there?
Well, again, it's an eye problem. They're not quite sure where it comes from. Remember, he got hit in the head about a week or so ago. They're not saying that's the problem, but he's going to be in and out of the lineup for a little bit.
And Devin White's back.
Yeah, White is going to bat in that 2 spot. They've got him back. Veras has started to get on base a little more. He's walking. He's a little healthier. This could be a big difference, not only for those guys, but for the rest of the order with their top 2 around base.
We've got a rib problem in Houston with Udick. He needs to open up a restaurant. Udick's Rib.
He's just a continuing problem. Had one removed after the problems last season. Had some other physical problems. Todd Jones has been the closer. He's blown a few saves. They've got to find a way to get Udick back, say, by mid-season. He's going to be a key to that race.
Now, the Dodgers, they want to keep Chad Fonville in the lineup now. What's going on with him?
Well, Brett Butler's got to have a surgical procedure on his tonsils. He has an infection, an inflammation there. Fonville's going to go to center field for the short term. That's less than a week after Tommy Lasorda says he's my left fielder. Billy Ashley's coming back this week. Greg Gagney's coming back this week. Fonville can also play some short. But the Dodgers are convinced that Chad Fonville is their catalyst. The players believe in this guy. He's going to be in that lineup somewhere pretty much every day.
In Montreal, Rondell White's out for a while. In Pittsburgh, John Hope into the rotation there. And in St. Louis, what's going on with Gary Gaetti?
Gaetti's on the DL. Now, that could solve some of the confusion for a little bit because Gaetti's been going back from first to third, so David Bell will play some third. In the meantime, it's his chance to break through.
Don't forget about our fantasy baseball helpline. All you have to do is send an email to primesports@AOL. That's PRM sports@AOL.com. Our baseballologist, Dave Lawson, will get back to you with an answer. Now, a word about Motorola SportTrax, and you can bet Norm Hitzges has one with him right now on the backstretch at Churchill Downs.
Fantasy Baseball Weekly is brought to you by Motorola SportTrax. Are you fan enough? And by Coors Light, Tap the Rockies. This program is licensed by the Major League Baseball Players Association.
Baseball fans everywhere are getting in a little extra game time with the new Motorola SportTrax. SportTrax delivers scores and game status of every Major League Baseball game as they're playing. It shows team at bat, the inning, number of outs, even the position of base runners. SportTrax covers it all with no monthly fees. Every team, every game, every time. Yes! Motorola SportTrax. Are you fan enough?
It was on a dreary night that I beheld the accomplishments of my toils. I collected the instruments of life around me, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing. I see the dull yellow eyes of a creature open, a flash of lightning illuminated its gigantic stature, the wretch, the filthy demon, the murderer.
It's not in the movies. You've got to read the book, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, if you like a good scare. Hit the books.
A message from Major League Baseball and its players for the National Education Association.
Presenting the trouble with money. Street performers.
I'll give you $10,000 to stop doing that. All right.
We never said being a millionaire was going to be easy.
Go away!
The thing I love about hockey is, although it's physical, you don't have to be big to play this game. There are plenty of players my size. I mean, look at Teo Fleury, look at Pat LaFontaine. Heads up! Whoa! This is actual size. I'm 5'7.5". I weigh 140. I'll be sitting down. Hockey, it's a beautiful thing.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on Fox, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific.
Welcome back to Motorola SportTrax Fantasy Baseball Weekly. It's time to take a look at above and below the line to see which players still haven't returned to historical form. We got guys blowing away. We got guys that aren't reaching their potential. Let's start with Brady Anderson. He's going crazy for the Orioles right now.
Well, during the winter, Davey Johnson takes over this club and says, I don't think Brady Anderson's my idea of a traditional leadoff hitter. Boy, was Davey right. This wasn't what he had in mind, but yeah, when's the last time a leadoff hitter led anybody's league in slugging percentage?
Frank Thomas is Frank Thomas. You don't expect him to come down, do you?
No, Thomas isn't going to come down. Albert Bell isn't going to come down. Edgar Martinez. One guy on our list here that I think is gotta come down is Scott Brocious. They're calling him Ferocious Brocious now, and the power numbers have just never been there, very, very infrequently in the past.
Let's go to the National League. Who's going to drop out of this bunch? Rodriguez, Hundley, Klesko, Sheffield, Bagwell? Not Bagwell.
No, certainly not. Klesko, I think this is the breakthrough year for Ryan Klesko. Todd Hundley, I think, is the most likely candidate to drop off. One, he's a catcher, and the wear and tear takes its toll on catchers. Number two, he's going to catch a lot more than he's been used to in the past. He's got to carry the load there, so I think he drops off some. I think he'll have a good year, though. In the American League, Juan Guzman, one of these guys that falls into that I told you so category, right, Paul? Yeah, we've been talking about Juan Guzman. Actually, the Blue Jays have been talking about him ever since Charlie O'Brien came in to catch. And a big step this week, for the first time, they let Sandy Martinez catch Guzman. The idea being they thought Guzman had gotten so used to O'Brien while he was on a roll, they wanted to see if he could continue that confidence over to Martinez, because that's their catcher of the future. He's going to have to throw to him. Now, eventually. Jack McDowell is a notorious slow starter, but hadn't happened. What's up with McDowell? If Jack McDowell is going to have a first 2 months that are this good, look out. This could be big numbers. And remember, the feeling was in Cleveland, if he struggles in a few starts, they score enough runs to get the victories. We could be looking at 20-plus victories here. National League pitching. Is this breakthrough time for Leiter and Nagel? Leiter, yeah, I think it very well could be. I mean, Nagel broke through last year and surprised a lot of people on an awful bad team, made the All-Star team. Certainly could be the case again. Leiter, I think, is another good possibility. I'm not as convinced about Kevin Brown, but let me tell you, Ishmael Valdez with the Dodgers, this is the breakthrough guy. Talking to Mark Grace this week of the Cubs, somebody said to him, gee, you've played the Dodgers 8 times, you haven't seen Nomo yet. He says, so what? We keep seeing Valdez, and he's just as tough. Greg Maddux is Greg Maddux. Kevin Brown, you always aren't quite sure what's going on with a guy who still likes to reach up and grab balls with his bare hands. Exactly. And he's got to get help from that Marlins infield defense, and he hasn't gotten a lot of it yet. If you've checked the box scores lately, you may have noticed Paul Molitor is right up there again among the American League's top hitters. As usual, the old warhorse seems to be adapting well to his return home to Minnesota.
Well, you know, generally, I've been a pretty quick starter, but, you know, last year was the first time I really struggled the first half of the season. And it kind of created some doubt. And you start to wonder if, you know, you're starting to go backwards in your abilities, because you know it's going to happen sooner or later. But I've been very pleased with getting off to a good start and seeing the team playing competitively. And hopefully, you know, this team will gain a little confidence so we continue to win some ball games. Paul Molitor doing it again. How old is he now, and how much does he have left? Well, he's got a lot left. The fact that he can still run the bases and steal some bases is crucial. He was brought in to help the young kids on this team grow up. But Molitor's thinking about winning. He's already a little upset that Kirby Puckett's been out, and he says, you know, we can win with everybody here. We're back to talk about players' job security in just a moment. You're watching Motorola SportTrax Fantasy Baseball Weekly.
The Mariners ignite Major League action on Prime Sports.
Step up to the plate and plug into the action. When the Mariners take it out of the park, live on Prime Sports.
Catch the hardest-hitting, hardest-playing hardball in the Major Leagues all season long.
And the Mariners are heading for home, live on Prime Sports. That's a home run you can count on. What?
The Mariners meet the Twins next Monday.
Right here on Prime Sports.
College baseball is a hit on Prime Sports. This season, our bases are loaded with hard swinging action from coast to coast, featuring the Northwest Pac-10. When your teams take the field, Prime Sports is your home run connection.
Welcome back to Motorola SportTrax Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I'm Walter Lynn in for Norm Hitzges, and this is Paul White, editor of Baseball Weekly. Just how secure is your fantasy player in his position? That's what we're going to be discussing next here. Let's talk about that now and start with the lineups that are set, Paul. Okay, we've got 12 teams here that you can pretty much depend on the same guys, same position, same batting order every night. And there's a cause and effect if you look closely. We've got all the division leaders right here. We've got a winning percentage of about .550 with these teams. So
it works, and I think every manager would like to have that. Some don't have the luxury.
Well, when you're tinkering with your lineup, that means you're not winning. Let's start with the Tigers there.
Okay, they've tried to find room in the outfield. They've had Nieves in there. They've had Danny Bautista out there. Shortstop is another position there's a little concern about. Alan Trammell took the job in spring training. That's not what they want. They want Chris Gomez to play. He's starting to work his way back in. You know, a great example. Trammell said, if the kid's ready to play, I want to let him play. Lee Smith, take note in California.
What are the Angels going to do at third base?
Well, they're not sure. Arias is obviously the third baseman of the future. They don't want to let him struggle too much at the major league level, especially when you've got Tim Wallach sitting on the bench. The guy's still capable.
And the White Sox have had some problems in the outfield. What does Chicago do with that situation?
Well, they're really mixing and matching with their batting order. They've tried to get Dave Martinez in the outfield a little bit, put him up in the number 2 spot. The victim of that is second baseman Ray Durham, having a nice year, gets bumped down in the batting order. Tartabull started to pick up. That's crucial for them. They like his bat behind Frank Thomas, but that leaves Lyle Mouton sitting on the bench.
Looks like Darren Bragg may be working his way back into the Mariners lineup. What do you think?
Or everybody else is coming back to Darren Bragg. He got sent out early when he struggled and they needed some pitchers on the roster. Everybody else has tried to play left field, and more important, bat leadoff for the Mariners has struggled. Lou Piniella may have to go back to Bragg soon.
Well, the Mets have a host of people that could play right field for them. What are they going to do there?
Well, they're going to let them all play right field. The real key for the Mets is Rico Brogna came back and started to hit at first base, so they can lock him in, let him play, and let the right fielders sort the mess out, and they don't feel like they're moving around a couple positions. But there's still going to be some infield movement. They've got to get Edgardo Alfonso into this lineup somehow, somewhere.
You know, we've talked a lot about the Red Sox problem. You look at their lineup right now, they've got maybe 3 guys who are regulars in the lineup where you can depend on them there every day.
Right, Stanley, Vaughn, and Valentin, and that is it. We talked about the outfield mess a little bit. Tim Naring's been hurt. He should be coming back fairly soon. Poor Kevin Kennedy just can't figure out, one, who's going to play, and what his batting order should be.
Let's talk about the Royals for a minute. What do they need to do to get their lineup solidified?
Well, I don't think they're going to solidify it all year. I really don't. Bob Boone has taken the approach. I talked to Herc Robinson about a week ago, the general manager, and he said, look, this season for us is to find out which of these young kids belong in the major leagues. We're going to want to sign some of these guys to long-term contracts, but we've got to be sure which ones are the ones to stake our future on.
Well, the Reds' outfield is still a jumble, but the Cardinals' infield is in flux.
Right. With Gaetti on the DL, David Bell's going to play a lot of third base. That means Mabry and maybe a little bit of Mark Sweeney at first base in the meantime, because Gaetti was going back and forth. Ozzie Smith is back, and that problem pops up again, but I think Royce Clayton stays in there at shortstop. And even second base, you know, LSA has not been that good, and Bell could end up going back there eventually.
When we return, we'll check out the leaders in our Prime Sports All-Star Fantasy game and take a look at Paul and Norm's team. We might even trade a couple of Norm's players while he's gone. We might do that. It's coming up next.
Baseball fans everywhere are getting in a little extra game time with the new Motorola SportTrax. SportTrax delivers scores and game status of every Major League Baseball game as they're playing. It shows team at bat, the inning, number of outs, even the position of base runners. SportTrax covers it all with no monthly fees. Every team, every game, every time. Yes! Motorola SportTrax. Are you fan enough?
Enjoy.
You win some, you lose some. But with a lottery scratch ticket, there's a 1 in 5 chance you'll win something. Wouldn't that be nice for a change?
Keep up with the Mariners this season as they head for home, live on Prime Sports. Seattle Mariner Baseball on Prime Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Soccer's most dynamic stars showcase their talents in one of the world's most elite divisions, the English Premier Soccer League.
Score with English Premier League Soccer here on Prime Sports.
It's time to take a look at the leaderboard in the Prime Sports All-Star Fantasy Baseball game. Now, 8 of our top 10 scores this week will receive Willie Mays autographed baseballs. And since we have a tie for first, we're going to award 2 SportTrax units. One of them goes to Daniel Takahashi of Las Vegas, who matched Robert Flowers of Bloomington with 370 points. And now here's Paul White to tell us more about our winner.
Well, Wally, Daniel's from Hawaii, but decided to settle in Las Vegas after retiring from the Army. He says he started playing fantasy sports when he was in the service, and even though he lives in Vegas, says he doesn't gamble, but we knew that already because the way he stayed with Mike Piazza and Gary Sheffield all the way, that's a safe thing.
Now, if you don't gamble in Vegas, that means usually that you did it one time and then maybe you don't after that.
You're probably right.
That's usually the case. Okay, it's time for our Motorola SportTrax Sleepers of the Week. Paul, let's start with you.
Well, I think Kilvio Veras, the second baseman in Florida, is my sleeper. This is a lineup just about ready to start putting some runs up. Veras has been hobbled a little bit. Remember, he led the league in stolen bases last year. They've got a nice schedule this week, 7 games, and this is the week for him.
Okay, now are you in front or behind Norm right now? Because that's going to depend on who I pick.
I'm behind Norm right now. Okay. I'm laying in the weeds.
All right, I'm going to let you pick then. No, we'll give him a chance to catch. We'll give Norm a chance to keep his lead. Angel Miranda of the Brewers. This is a guy who gets a couple of home starts. His ERA is below 3. Another one of those guys who shifts back between a number 5 and a reliever. He's the guy for Norm this week.
Yeah, another one of those. It was Carlos Reyes last week. I'm glad Norm's not here this week. He would have mentioned Carlos Reyes more times than Motorola SportTrax this week.
Well, I guess everybody here is quite thankful that Norm's in Louisville this week for the Kentucky Derby because he would be gloating about last week's picks there, Paul. Now, let's also talk a little bit about trades for the upcoming week, guys that you're going to put in and put on the bench.
I put Veras in for Mickey Morandini at second base. Get your Phillies out of the lineup this week. It's a tough week for him. I took Dykstra out, put Gary Sheffield, another Marlin. I think he's really starting to break loose now. And in the pitching rotation, Pedro Martinez of the Expos is going to get 2 starts. He's looking great right now. And Al Leiter from Florida, I'm really riding those Marlins.
Well, here are Norm's changes. He's going to go with Mark McGuire, who hit a couple of dingers right back after the injury. It's just a question of how long he can stay in. Pedro J. Martinez for John Smoltz. What do you think about that move?
I think it's a good move. I love Martinez right now.
Al Leiter comes in for Facero, Kevin Brown back in, and Angel Miranda, as we mentioned. If you're playing the Prime Sports All-Star Fantasy Baseball game, you can get weekly results at participating sports clubs all around the country. You'll also find the Coors Light Tip of the Week printed right there on the same report. Many of these tips are from our own baseballologist and researcher, Dave Lawson. Coming up next, the Scheduling Edge.
Want to be at the ballpark rooting for your favorite team but can't? Then let the Motorola SportTrax take you out to the ball game. By calling now, you're as good as there. For just $199.95, you'll get every Major League Baseball game, any team, anytime, anywhere. SportTrax gives you 3 full seasons of baseball action. See what teams at bat, the inning, the number of outs, even the position of the base runners. Updates after every batter. SportTrax will report yesterday's scores, the current day's schedule. There's even a sound activator to indicate the end of an inning, runs scored, and more. Just call 1-800-347-8324. Never miss another moment of Major League Baseball action again. Order yours right now. Pay no shipping charges. $199.95 or 3 easy payments of $66.65. You're as good as there. Call 1-800-347-8324 and root for your home team or any team with the Motorola SportTrax. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks not included.
The Super Bowl comes only once a year, but you can keep that championship feeling year-round with an exclusive limited edition autographed print of your favorite Dallas Cowboy gridiron hero. These beautiful numbered prints featuring Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Nate Newton are accompanied with a letter of authenticity and come unframed or professionally matted and framed in cherry walnut or black alloy. Remember, although the Cowboy legacy lives on, when these limited edition prints are gone, they're gone. Order yours today.
Welcome back. We now take a look at some of the magic doubles on the schedule for this week. We're into that period now where most teams play in that full week, but there's one exception this week, the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, the Reds, who've been struggling anyway, get a 5-game week. I think we have to be a little concerned. Obviously, you don't want to play any Reds hitters this week.
In the National League, you've got Florida and you've got Montreal, home sweet home. They got 7 games in their own park.
Yeah, Florida's a team that, as we've been saying today, it looks like they're starting to hit the ball and start to create some offense. Montreal facing the Cubs and the Astros on that turf up in Olympic Stadium, they could have a good week too.
Now the Tigers go on the road for 7. When they leave Tiger Stadium, what happens to Detroit?
Well, certainly the offense can drop off, but they're facing a couple of pitching staffs that are a little bit in flux right now. The Yankees are kind of thinned out. That's not a bad place for the Tigers to play. Texas, a little bit of concern about their starting pitching. The Tigers' big hitters could see enough mistakes to have pretty good weeks.
And in the National, whenever the Rockies leave Coors Field, you wonder what's going to happen there, and they're away for 7.
And especially this week, the Braves and the Marlins, 2 pretty tough and hot pitching staffs.
Let's talk about teams with 6-game homestands. Seattle and Texas, these look like 2 teams that are going to start catching some shaky rotations out there.
Exactly. These 6-game teams might be better than some of the 7. Seattle's going to see the Twins and the Royals in the Kingdome in Seattle, and Texas gets the Jays and the Tigers at home. The big weeks for the power hitters there.
Now we take a look at some of the pitchers and what to expect from them this week. We've talked a little bit about Juan Guzman. How's Kenny Rogers doing in New York? I know he got that good first start. Is he handling the heat there okay?
Yeah, he seems to be doing pretty well. They've really needed him to step up with all the other injuries, and that was one of the concerns. Could he take it? He's done well. Now, if he gets some adversity, that's going to be the true test on Kenny.
Now, David Wells was really shelled by the Rangers when he was really cruising along. What's happened to Wells, and they've really got to rely on him now because the Orioles are struggling.
A situation similar to Rogers. Can Wells step up when they need him real badly? He hasn't recently, and with only 3 guys, Wells, Erickson, and Mussina, is sure things in that rotation. They need Wells to pick it up, and he's been a little shaky.
In the National League, Pedro Martinez, your thoughts on him?
Oh, he's on a roll now. Really shut down the Mets this week, and he's going to get 2 starts next week. I like him a lot.
Speaking of 2 starts, Mike Hampton gets 2 starts, but both of those come on AstroTurf. Is that a warning sign?
That's a little bit of a warning sign in Philadelphia and in Montreal. Maybe not so bad in Philadelphia, but Montreal could give him a hard time with all their contact hitters.
And you got Tukes going against his old team.
Yeah, Tewksbury had a real rough start against the Giants this week, and that has to be some concern. His location wasn't good, but he gets the Cardinals and the Pirates, and those are teams he should be able to handle.
There are some big names that you really need to watch closely right now, and let's talk about them. David Cone, first of all, we talked about the circulation problem with his hand.
Right, he's a guy you've got to stay away from until you see him make a couple of good starts in a row, because there's a chance if this hand continues to bother him, he's going to pitch, he's going to take a couple extra days off between starts, and you have to be careful that the Yankees don't start pushing him because of their other pitching problems.
And then you've got Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens. Boy, these are some names now coming up on the watch closely list.
Absolutely, and you have to watch Johnson closely because of the injuries we've talked about, but Clemens, wow, a great game his last start, and it just may be time. When Clemens gets in a groove, he can be awesome, and he's going to see Milwaukee and Toronto next week. This could be the time to ride the rocket.
It's that pitching coach change.
It must be. Sammy Ellis, miracle worker.
That's going to do it for this week's Motorola SportTrax Fantasy Baseball Weekly. For my sidekick, Paul White, and for Norm Hiskis, who's probably having a mint julep about right now, I'm Walter Lynn. We hope you get a few seeing eye doubles in your league this week.
Fantasy Baseball Weekly has been brought to you by Motorola SportTrax. Are you fan enough? And by Coors Light, Tap the Rockies. This program is licensed by the Major League Baseball Players Association. Guests stay at Le Meridian, conveniently located in downtown Dallas.
Enjoy.
You win some, you lose some. But with a lottery scratch ticket, there's a 1 in 5 chance you'll win something. Wouldn't that be nice for a change?